you ever have any issues with flying or any fear of flying after the plane crash that happened with your father?
Well, a couple times, like me and Wahoo were wrestling each other, but we didn't. We all lived in Charlotte, and a lot of these towns were way over there on the East Coast, the Carolina coast, and the roads weren't good back then either. So we would rent a plane together, and trying to. Freddie was a pilot, Freddie. And one time we had some engine trouble, and so he landed, and he checked it out. Then he couldn't get the engine started, and he went out and he told Wahoo, who was up in front with him, I was in the back, to turn the thing on, and he hand pumped it with his hand to start the propeller, and then we took off. I go, oh my God. But we made it, and then we made it back that night. So a couple of issues. I used to fly with Ronnie Garvin. He was a good pilot, by the way. Whenever you fly in a small airplane, and especially when I think about the Ric Flair and Johnny Valentine, my dad, going down. And then that same year, I believe it was 75, they had the crash with Gary Hart and Buddy Colt, and Austin Idol was on that, and Bobby Shane drowned. That was in Tampa Bay where they drowned. And it was only like 20, 30 feet of water. But Bobby Shane couldn't get his seat buckle off, and he drowned. So those two incidents in 75 made it a little scary. But and then my dad's, oh my God, my dad was lucky to live, but he suffered for a long time after that. He never wanted to be in a wheelchair, and they flew him to Houston and put steel rods up his back, and he started walking with crutches, but he didn't want anything to do with a wheelchair. So tough.
What do you want fans to remember about your father, and what should they, maybe look up if they haven't seen anything from him?
There's a match, and it's on YouTube. It's Bull Curry against my father. Back in the day, they used to have 2 out of 3 fall matches, and it's from Houston. It's a great match. You can find it. Johnny Valentine against Wild Bull Curry, and just see. And there's some matches with my dad and Wahoo on the internet too, YouTube. Actually, Wahoo's the guy that pulled my dad out of the cockpit of the airplane, because my dad could not move. Everybody else was getting out. He could smell gas, and he thought he was just going to burn alive, but Wahoo was there to pull him out. Johnny Valentine, my dad, loved professional wrestling. He loved the business. In Renton, Washington, he was working out, and he was at a gym, and he was boxing. And a guy walked up to him, and he says, "You want to be a boxer?" And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "I got a lot better plan for you. Why don't you become a pro wrestler?" So he went to St. Joe, Missouri. He hooked up with the Zbyszkos, not Larry Zbyszko, the original Zbyszko twins, and they broke him in, sent him to South America, Brazil. He ended up breaking his leg. He went back to Miami, flew back to Miami, and rode a Greyhound bus all the way from Miami back to Seattle. But that didn't stop my dad. He loved the business. He loved every part of it. And, he loved the fans. That's what I wanted. All the fans that love watching Johnny Valentine, he loved you too, because he loved to entertain you, and he loved to make it look real, because his shit was real. All you got to do is please watch that Wild Bull Curry match. 2 out of 3 from Sam Houston Coliseum. It's a great match. One of the best. But he had good matches with everybody. A lot of good ones against Wahoo. Oh my God. They tore the Carolinas apart, you know. Good stuff. He always used to say, if you think wrestling's fake, go out and watch my match. You know, because, and he always instilled that in me, you know. He says, you know, I tried not, you know, some of the guys would like to go out and watch matches before their match. I tried not to watch any matches. First of all, I'm not going to repeat what they're doing anyway. And I don't want to mess up my work or my shit by watching somebody else's matches, excuse me. So I just didn't do that. I wanted to have a clear train of thought when I went out there. I knew what I was going to do. And my main thing is making the fans believe they spent their good, cold, hard cash. And we didn't have rich people that were wrestling fans back then, not after, you know, eventually Hollywood people started coming. But, you know, they were hardworking people that wanted to be entertained, and they believed in the stuff. And I wanted them to believe it, especially in my stuff. And that's the way Johnny Valentine, my dad, was.
You mentioned Buddy Colt earlier. He just passed away too recently.
Did he really?
Yeah.
So, you know, he hurt his leg really bad and he couldn't wrestle anymore in that plane crash. And it wasn't his fault. It was the weather. And he was lucky to get out of there alive. And he was still part of the office. So they gave him a job putting matches together and stuff. So he comes up to me and says, Greg, we're in Tampa. He goes, you want to fly with me to Jacksonville? And I'm thinking, well, you just had that plane crash. He says, it won't cost you anything, just fly with me. So I got up in the front seat with him and flew to Jacksonville. And everybody's thinking, man, you want to fly with him? He just had a plane crash. So I did about 6 flights with Buddy Colt, and they were all fine. But he, like I said before, he's a good pilot, and that was bad weather. Actually, the weather improved, so that's when he started to go in before that crash that night. The weather improved, and as soon as he got to the airstrip, it got bad again, so he couldn't get in. So this time he goes, I promise you, Greg, just if it's bad weather, we'll stay in Jacksonville. I said, that's fine. So I did those long trips with him. People thought I was nuts, but I trusted Buddy. I got a picture of him and my dad. They did some tag team matches in Florida together. Yeah, Buddy Colt, good worker, good wrestler.